Happy Sunday, Astro lovers. I hope you have had an amazing weekend. I know that it has been deep and interesting and for some argumentative, confrontational, a little separative, because Mercury was the first of our planets in Leo to come into an opposition to Saturn. So, that opposition between Mercury and Leo and Saturn and Aquarius is really like getting down to business. Like, let's talk about what's really going on here. Let's talk about the reality, right? Leo Mercury can be a little bit self-absorbed or a little self-focused or a little like, well, this is the way I see it. This is the way I think about it. And Saturn Aquarius is like, but what about how the rest of us saw it? Or what about how we take in that information? It's really an awareness between me and we, right? So it's like let's hear both sides, right? Leo has a perspective, but now Leo looking at Aquarius needs to entertain the other perspective. So, that opposition hit late at night here on the West Coast. And so for some, Saturday night, Sunday morning, maybe even now, was testy. And this is the idea. Remember, we're all coming out of Cancer season. And the Sun and Mercury were traveling along in Cancer, opposing that Pluto. So emotions are running high right now. I know that my favorite word is volatile. I'm hearing it more and more often from my listeners and my friends as well, friends that are listeners too. But it's true, and we have Venus in Cancer right now. So Venus has yet to come into her opposition. Now, she's going to get there on the 8th, so not this week, but next Monday, August 8th, she's going to come into her opposition to Pluto, and she's going to speak on her perspective. She is going to reveal things from the feminine perspective of what's been going on behind the scenes. But now the Sun and Mercury have already done that, so they've already brought things to light that we don't necessarily want to own up to, or we don't necessarily like looking at ourselves, but we had no choice. And Venus is going to come and say, all right, I've given you enough time to process that. Now here's my side of things. But now the Sun and Mercury, both in Leo, are coming into their oppositions to Saturn. And now Mercury was the first to do it. So this weekend, Mercury brought out some kind of kerfuffle with authority, some kind of kerfuffle between, friends, in relationships. There was just some sort of, what's the word I would like to use? Kind of an awakening of, like Mercury was thinking about things one way, right? Like my side of things, like this is how I see it, whatever. And then the opposition to Saturn is like, now let's talk about how my perspective is affecting the we perspective, the relationship. So it really did make for like a testy weekend. And so if you were feeling that, if you experienced that, just know that this energy is going to continue while planets are going through Cancer and Leo. Now, Venus will be finishing up her story in Cancer soon enough. Mars we don't have to worry about because once he hits Gemini, he's going to be entering his retrograde shadow, where he's going to be in Gemini for the rest of the year. And he'll get to, let's see, I wrote it down. He'll get to Gemini on August 20th. So once he gets there, we're going to be busy with Mars and Gemini for a long time. We're going to all the way through 2023. So we're not going to be worried about Mars having an opposition to Pluto just yet. That's not till next year. But we are going to have Venus. So while we're still exposing the shadows and then working with like the me and we story, like how were both sides affected? What's both sides of the tale? While we're still doing that, just remember that emotions are running high. And if you just remember that, and it's not just you, everyone right now has a testy. It's like we're like on a surfboard on quicksand, right? Everyone's trying to get their balance and not fall off the board. So if you go forward with that, whether you're showing up in your relationship, your friendships, your work dynamics, as you're negotiating, compromising, making deals, coming up with new ideas and new strategies, just remember that, one, to go easy on yourself. Let's just start there. First, go easy on yourself. If you yourself are experiencing really heightened emotions lately and you're still trying to get a lot of things done, this is your cosmic hall pass to just go easy on yourself. And I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to myself too. There's a lot of energy going on right now. And, astrologers are not exempt from that, right? We have the perspective to look at all the aspects and to weigh it out and to predict and kind of understand what's happening. That's why I do what I do, to help you understand this is what's happening right now. So if you're feeling a certain way, don't feel crazy. So because things are so heightened, especially, I'm just going to call out and really give the pass to the fixed signs. I'm talking to you, Taurus, Scorpio, Leos, and Aquarius. With Uranus in Taurus and then Saturn in Aquarius, all the fixed signs right now are really in this, for signs that love stability, for signs that love comfort in their own ways, for things not to change. There is so much energy of change, and for the most part, it's out of your control. So if you are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, or you know that you have personal planets in those signs, even your rising, then really just say, okay, I have, this is like the energy is fraught for me. It's testy right now. Again, I don't really believe that the universe tests us. I don't think that the universe works to challenge us in a way that is like, are you going to pass this test or not? Saturn, okay, Saturnian influence can be a little like, well, did you learn your lesson? But I don't believe that the universe tests us in the way that a lot of people say, like, oh, I finally said, I'm not going to date F-boys anymore. I'm going to censor myself, so just in case there's any young listeners around. But let's just say that. I said I'm not going to mess with that F-boy anymore. And then, and I finally get to that point, and I finally feel good about it, and then he calls me. And he calls me at 11:45 at night and says, hey, you up? And it's, the universe testing me, and, I'm weak, I can't... I can't say no, like, it's just so good or whatever. I don't believe that that's a test per se. I think that's an opportunity to say, well, did you mean it? And if you meant it, then it doesn't matter. And now I use that example, but just apply that where you're saying, I'm done with this. I'm not gonna deal with X, Y, and Z, or I'm not gonna say yes to X, Y, Z, person A, B, C, whatever. And then, of course, everyone goes, well, then of course you get to that point, and then that the thing shows up, or the opportunity presents itself right after you got to a place where you said enough's enough. And then that's where you have a choice. And that's where I believe that the universe just provides opportunities to check in and say, did you mean it? So while planets, now we're looking at the sun and, in future, Venus, when she leaves Cancer, as they come to oppose Saturn, that's the vibe. So did you mean it? Are you really going to do what you said you were going to do? Have you done what you said you were going to do? And with Saturn, if you do what you said you're going to do, and if you did the right thing, right, whatever your right thing is, and only you know what the right thing is in your scenario in your life, if you did it, Saturn comes around and is like, okay, cool. All right, good job. You get a little bit of a pat on the shoulder, like that old dad, conservative dad, that just like you can never tell. Like, so are you proud of me? Like, are you happy for me? Or, that energy that you can't like really figure it out. You get that like pat on the shoulder, like, okay, I'll see you around next time. But if you haven't, and I like to say that Saturn is that little voice in the side of your head that say, I know I should do this. I should say no. I should do this. I should go whatever. Whenever you hear yourself say, this is what I know I should do, that's Saturn right there. And when we ignore Saturn, that's when we get the cosmic smackdown. Because he goes, well, you already know. You already knew what the right thing was, and you decided not to do it. So now I have to come back around because you're repeating the same patterns. And now I have to lay the law down again. I have to remind you yet again. So if you find yourself, or if you've already found yourself, especially when all the planets were opposing Pluto over the last several weeks, if you found yourself in stressful situations, in heightened situations, emotional situations, and you've been there before, Saturn's going to come around and say, well, there are consequences, there are repercussions, and the effort is to stop repeating the same patterns. Remember, this is fixed energy, so breaking out of a fixed cycle is one that really requires a lot of effort, energy, and time. Saturn rules time. So and fixed energy is that latch-on energy. Like, even though I know that this is toxic, it's comfortable and safe for me, so I'm going to latch on to it so it doesn't change. Because I don't like the change. It's when things change that I don't feel like I have any earth beneath my feet, and my stability's all off. Well, that's one of the karmic lessons of fixed energy in general. So just remember, especially if you are finding yourself in repeated patterns of behavior, that this is your opportunity to work towards a new pattern, a new cycle, a new way of showing up in your life for yourself. Mercury in Leo, Sun in Leo, for yourself. Show up more for yourself so that when you start showing up to others, you are fully actualized in your own being, your own essence, your own personality. And then you're able to be like the best hype man for those people that you love. That is the highest octave of Leo energy. I am so self-confident. I am so in ownership of my own shine and glimmer and glamour and glitz and my own ability to capture an audience or to capture the attention of my friends, my family, other people, that I can shine that light. I can share that light with you because you are worthy of the same shine. That's the highest octave of Leo energy. So if you are feeling disconnected from yourself, these Leo planets, just Sun and Mercury alone, take some of that sunshine. Leo's ruled by the sun. Take some of that and go, I gotta recapture myself again. I've lost that. And now it's time for me to pull that up. Remember, we all have Leo influence in our charts, and where that falls in your chart is where you're meant to shine in this world. And I want everyone, if you have not pulled your chart, to at least go find that Leo part of your wheel and say, aha, that's where I'm meant to shine. And if you're feeling like so disconnected from that placement, then that's where you need to put some effort. And that's where you need to build your self-confidence. And when that self-confidence is there, then you show up in the world saying, oh, I got my light. Now let me help you find yours. Woo! This Sunday, your astrologer felt like preaching. I see. But that felt like something that we needed to discuss at the top of this podcast. So this is the podcast for the week of August 1st through the 7th, 2022. Happy August. We are riding in the middle of Leo season, which is great. We've got Mercury this week leaving Leo, entering Virgo on Wednesday or Thursday if you're on the East Coast. Venus is in that mid to late section of Cancer. Mars is in that mid to late-ish degrees of Taurus. Jupiter is, of course, he's stationed retrograde last week. He is retrograde at 8 degrees of Aries. Saturn's at 22 Aquarius, is sitting there pretty long. Uranus and the nodes this week, actually on today, Sunday, met up. We're going to talk about that in 2 seconds. Tomorrow, August 1st, Mars is going to join that conjunction. So we got Uranus, the nodes, and Mars all conjunct each other. We'll talk about it in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Neptune is at 25 degrees of Pisces, retrograde. Pluto is at the very last degrees. Not the very last, but 27 to 26 degrees of Capricorn, going retrograde. And then some of our asteroid series is 3 to 6 degrees of Leo. So this does make our Leo season not just that passionate, fun, flamboyant summertime energy that we're used to. With Ceres in Leo too, Ceres is how we nurture ourselves and take care of ourselves. It's that mother, that like maternal instinct within us to either take care of others, take care of ourselves. But now with Ceres in Leo along with the Sun and Mercury, it gives it that like another layer of emotionality and softness and going, okay, I'm going to take all this passion and make sure that I'm also taking care of my heart. I'm preserving my heart. I'm nurturing my heart. And I'm doing the things that make me feel good. And, it's just like that hot bowl of soup on a cold winter night. It's that feeling, but now in the middle of summer, So it's just the equivalent of just really take care of your heart, nurture your heart, listen to your heart, and really pay attention to what you need. When you tell yourself, I know that I need this, do that. Don't layer that with distraction. Don't layer that with scrolling through Instagram or TikTok. Like put that down and do that thing of like, oh, I need a bath tonight. And don't let the fact that you need to clean the bathtub prevent you from taking the bath. Clean the bathtub and then get in it. That example comes directly from your astrologer because I need to take a bath and I keep taking showers. So that was a directive for me, but for you. What else do we have this week? So here's the deal. This week, mostly the planets give you a break because the Uranus-North Node Mars conjunction is a very potent, powerful shift in energy, shift in focus, shift in opportunity. So everybody else gets real quiet to let you, we do have some shifts, but, for the most part, the planets are like, all right, let's let this just kind of happen, and then we're going to move through it. So, of note, that conjunction, which we're going to talk about, Mercury does enter Virgo, and then we have a Scorpio quarter moon on Friday. So, other than that, there's a couple little aspects we're going to talk. Venus gets with Uranus, Venus gets with Mars, kind of like, catapults that energy from the conjunctions. And then when Mercury enters Virgo, we just have a whole nice, Mercury loves being in Virgo. It's all about work and all about getting organized, practical, taking care of health matters and wellness and diet and digestion. All of those things start becoming a theme. And it's a really more focused, organized energy, which your Virgo astrologer is definitely going to need. So I'm having my Mercury return. But just to note, Mercury's going to enter Virgo. And when he gets to the later degrees of Virgo, he is going to enter his retrograde shadow because we have the pending Mercury retrograde that hits in September. Which, fun fact, I have had Mercury retrograde on my birthday for years now. So I'm looking forward to when that is no longer the case. But we have a lot of really cool aspects or planetary shifts and highlights happening this month or in August. And my fingers crossed, but I am going to do another video talking about August in general and what the energy is for the signs. So I'll let you know if you're on the newsletter. If you're not, click the link in the show notes and get on the newsletter list. But if I'm able to pull it off, I am going to send that out and let all of you know, because I'm gonna do a month ahead forecast, because we have an Aquarius full moon, we have a Virgo new moon, and we kicked the month off already, like we're going to talk about right now with this Uranus-North Node Mars conjunction. So here's the really cool thing about this conjunction. It only happens every 15 years. And I actually brought out some really cool dates so that you can go back in your life and think about what was going on for you. So I'm actually going to share a personal story. Oh, gosh. Just so you can kind of think about, what this was for you. So here we go. When we have this conjunction, so Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. He's the revolutionary. He's the surprise, the change agent, the rebel energy, the individual, but within the community, right? So how does changing things for myself affect the collective? How is it better for the group? How can we do better ourselves individually? And how does that exude out into the collective, into the bigger group, into the city, the state, the world, the country? So in Taurus, this energy, we have a big focus on ecological matters, global warming, plastic, recycling. We have a big energy and a big focus on all things Earth, because Taurus is Mother Earth energy. So that's kind of for the world at large, right? But we're attracting people, or we're attracting lessons that help us detach from any kind of tradition that isn't contributing to our growth. Right? So there's opportunities to meet someone new that helps shift you into this new direction or this new opportunity. So a lot of this can happen so many different ways, and with Uranus, it's so unpredictable that you really just kind of have to be along for the ride, and you have to kind of say, I'm open to whatever. Show me what you got. And show me what needs to change. Show me what's not contributing to my evolution and the way that moves me towards growth, right? You don't want to devolve. You don't want to dissolve. That's more of a Neptune thing, right? Uranus is like, nah, this old structure is not working anymore. If you're drowning in sorrow, Uranus is going to yank, you got to come out of that. It's not working for you. So in Taurus, on an individual level, this really gives us an opportunity to define our relationship to comfort, to security. That's financial security, and that's emotional security. Pleasure. Redefining what pleasure means to you. Are you disconnected from that concept of pleasure? And redefining it. As we get older, the things that really got us going, that turned us on, they shift, they change. Do you know that version of yourself? And you might have an opportunity, if pleasure is something that when you hear that word, you either go, no, I don't think about those things. Or if you embrace it and it's already coming up for you, this is such a big one. We're all worthy of pleasure. Taurus also rules worth, value. We're really getting an expose in the world at large. What are our collective values, and how are they affecting individuals, and how are they affecting society? And boy, don't we have a lot of those questions running around right now. And this is an opportunity. This conjunction is an opportunity to say, how do we change this for the better? Because the idea, what this energy wants from us all, is to change for the better, to own your sense of self-worth and for your sense of self-value. What you create. Taurus is still a creative energy, if you ask me. What you create has value. And the people that you pull in, I even go to like Friday, Saturday, right? Think about yesterday and think about Friday, the 31st, 30th, and see that and go, or the 30th and 29th. Today's the 31st. And see like, oh, this is a person, or this is a direction, this is a thought, this is an idea. Uranus can be, that electric shock can come from a brilliant idea that you just have to capture. You have to capture really fast with Uranus. So if you get a good idea, or if you get this opportunity, like, hey, I want to introduce you to this person. This just happened last night with my boyfriend. It was like, hey, there's somebody you should meet. Like, you should get here ASAP. And it was that meeting, and it was so crazy to be at that event and be the astrologer going, oh my God, the Uranus-North Node conjunction is taking place in front of our very eyes right now. And that's the idea. Hey, there's this opportunity. Hey, what are you doing? Because right now, there's this thing. That light switch moment, that defibrillator, like clear, shock, that can come from within you. So I don't want you to get married to the idea that this has to be some kind of event. It can be within yourself, that electric shock, that brilliant idea that kind of comes and you go, oh my God, that is such a good idea. Write it down and move with it, because like Uranus can come like whoop and then be gone. And that's what he's meant to do. He's meant to say like, hey, how about this? How about this? What do you think? And if you think it's good, you think it has value, you think that you can roll with it, then go with it. Are redefining our issues, or not our issues, our relationships to wealth. What does it mean to be rich, right? I mean, there's financial rich, and then there's, God, just within your own essence, within your own being of being rich. Being a well-rounded, full individual that shows up not only for yourself, but for your loved ones. And when strangers come up and when you meet new people, you're so full of yourself that you go, man, you're cool. Let me share some of this with you. And then redefining our relationship to stability. Now, instability seems to be the common theme here in 2022. And within that, this is very much like my career in entertainment, where at a certain point, you realize, or I realized, oh, the stability comes in this industry in the instability. So there's a whole period of time where you're not doing anything. You're not getting jobs. You're not booking anything. And you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So what do? You get side gigs. You start hustling. You start doing whatever you can to pay the rent, pay the bills. Anything else, if you're lucky enough to make something and you can save it, you do that. But then when you get the job, right? And that job, gives you like a whoosh of income. But then you never know when the next job is coming. So the stability comes, and this is what I learned, and this is what I've done with my career in entertainment, is go, okay, when I'm working, I'm going to look at how much money I'm going to make and how much will that carry me through. Will that pay a month's rent? Will that pay 3 months' rent? Will that pay, if I make nothing else, when this job is over, how much money am I going to bring in? And how long will that last me if $0 comes into the bank? So then it became, there's my stability. I learned how to manage through. So yes, you make this much money, but okay, since it's here, there, and anywhere, as far as job opportunities go, you're like, okay, all right, so cool. I'm good for 3 months, and then, so it's like, okay, I can kind of take a break, or ooh, this only gets me through, the next month. Then you go, all right, well then I got to keep, doing the side gigs, doing the hustle, whatever that is. So apply that to stability, because right now things are so unstable. Like I said in the beginning, it's like being on a surfboard on top of quicksand. and you're trying to like, okay, let me find my center, let me find my core. How can you find your stability and redefine stability while the outside world is in itself unstable? I hope that makes sense. Oh my gosh, we're already at 30 minutes. Okay, that is the idea of the Uranus-Mars conjunction. I felt like I needed to do that because it's a really potent energy, and this is one of 2022's manga aspects. All right, let's talk about these moons really quick, and let me get you going with the rest of your week. So, on Monday, August 1st, the moon is already in Virgo. It goes void at 3:29 p.m. Pacific. Remember, all the times I give you are Pacific Daylight Time. That Virgo moon goes void with a trine to Pluto. Then at 9:06 p.m., the moon enters Libra. It's in Libra all day Tuesday, August 2nd, having an opposition to Jupiter and a sextile to the sun. So a great day to put things out, get things done. Oppositions are, just get off energy, release energy. On Wednesday the 3rd, the Libra moon makes tons of aspects, okay? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 aspects, 6 of which are stressful, friction, separative, and like annoying. So just know that Wednesday's one of those like testy days. You're going to have a lot to do, or the energy around you is going to be a little frenetic and a little like, people are going to be stressed. So just watch it. The Libra moon goes void at 11:20 p.m. with a square to Pluto. So just stress. So just within relationship and partnership. So just know that's relationships across the board. So keep that in mind. The moon enters Scorpio Thursday, August 4th at 4:47 a.m. That's your come down day. Thursday's the day to go, okay, let me breathe. Let me duck in my cave. Scorpio is what I like to joke with, that cave energy. Like, I'm just going to disappear for a second. If you can. Now, Scorpio for me is in my 3rd house. So that's like when I get really busy, but it's at least a more quiet day. On Friday the 5th, the Scorpio moon has 5 aspects, 4 of which are adjusting, separative, and frustrating. But I will say Friday night, the Scorpio moon has a lovely trine to Venus at 9:56 p.m. So through Saturday morning, that is a really nice energy. So Friday night could be a really good date night. Because that energy is nice, really sweet, really lovey, really watery, just like warm and fuzzy. The Scorpio moon goes void at 4:24 a.m. on Saturday, August 6th, with a sextile to Pluto. So forward motion, feeling it's like nervous energy, frenetic energy, something new maybe, and that's a nice closing aspect. Moon enters Sagittarius at 9:39 a.m. Saturday morning. It's in there all day Sunday, where it has lots of aspects, but most of them are nice. There's a couple of adjusting, but a lot of really nice aspects on Sunday the 7th. And on Monday the 8th, the Sag moon goes void at 3:30 a.m. with a square to Neptune. So just clearing up what is not clear. Sag, remember, is looking for the truth, looking for just tell me what it is. And Neptune's like, oh, well, it could be so many things. So it's a little bit of a stressful energy, but typically there's like a call-out energy to Sag square Neptune. Okay, so other planetary things to note. Venus has the sextile to Uranus and Mars on Tuesday the 2nd. So just think about that. Mars and Uranus in the node come together on the 1st. Then Venus on the 2nd comes and goes, okay, how do we want to relate? How do we want to connect within this opportunity, within this electric shock? How do we want to beautify this? How do we want to create? How do we want to make money? Because Venus, remember, is the ruler of Taurus, so she's gonna come and go, okay, how you want to do this? How you feel about all of this? Mercury enters Virgo Wednesday night at 11:58 p.m., where he will retrograde for part. His upcoming retrograde is going to be split between Libra and Virgo, so just keep that in mind. And then the Scorpio quarter moon is Friday, August 5th at 4:07 a.m., 13 degrees, 2 minutes of Scorpio. So find 13 degrees in your chart of Scorpio or your fixed signs, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius. If you have anything around 13, 14, 15, 12, 13, 14, 15, then the quarter moon's talking to you, and it's a balancing act. Remember, we had the Leo new moon last week. What do you want to create? How do you want to create joy? How do you want to live with joy? And now the Scorpios goes, okay, what psychological beliefs might be preventing you from joy? What else is the oppositions to Pluto over the last several weeks exposed to you? Because Pluto is Scorpio's ruler, and go, okay, some more shadow work perhaps needs to be done before we get to the fully and capture that joy. So what are those things? Is it money? Is it relationship patterns? Is it relationship behaviors? You tell us. Okay, so that's what's coming up. So a very potent week, especially at the front half of the week. And then the second half is kind of like, all right, let's come down a little bit. Okay, so with that, I will wish you the best week ever. I'll catch you on the social media. Remember, if you're ready for a reading, come find me, drunkastro.com. Link is in the description. And I will see you next week. Much love, everybody. Bye.